So I want to welcome everyone. My name is Michelle Yasuda, and I'm the program director for the Foundation for Conscious Living's Big Leap Home programs, mouthful. And these programs support individuals, communities, and organizations in generating agency, connection, and creativity on our shared planet. And I just love that intention. And these bridge calls are actually one of the ways that we show up in the world, that the Foundation for Conscious Living shows up. And so I have just a few logistics to go over, and then we're going to go ahead and get into this juicy call. So last thing I want to do before I turn this call over is to invite you into a commitment. So when you listen to these words, notice how they land in your body. We find that learning works best when we choose to bring curiosity, openness to learning, and appreciation of ourselves and others into the space. So I invite you to just see how your body takes that in. And now I'm going to turn my attention to Julie. I had the pleasure of meeting you a long time ago at one of the Hendricks trainings, and you led a session. And what I noticed right away was, wow, this is a person who's been in the Hendricks world and really has taken this work in and really obviously resonates with it and has added their own creativity, which is what I notice is Katie and Gay's favorite, is how does this work ripple in the world? And I know that you've been rippling the work in amazing, amazing ways. So I'm going to turn the call over to you. And I really want to thank you for being willing to lead one of our bridge calls.
Michelle, thanks for creating this. And I imagine, I don't know all the things that you do behind the scenes, but I think you do a lot. And so I want to appreciate you for what you're doing behind all of us to keep all this going and to bring this really expanded, wonderful, amazing work out into the world. So thanks, Michelle. Thanks everybody else for being here. Now I'm going to put my glasses on so I can actually look at you a little bit more carefully and invite you to play with me. I don't know if anybody else had this thought when Michelle said she was going to pop something into the chat. Did you think, is she going to pop a wheelie? Okay, that would be fun. Later we get to see, I don't know if that'll happen. So you might want to take a moment. When we do stuff around my orgs, we bodify, right? And so that means, and we don't have to do it one by one because you didn't sign up for that. Maybe, I don't know if you did. Anyway, but to get into, Julie's like, no, get into your body. This means like right now, if you were going to do the thing, do the movement or the whatever it is, so it actually matches your outsides with your insides. We can all do it simultaneously. Like mine would be kind of like this. That's what mine would be. I don't know what yours would be, but right, because this is all coming in through the body. Yippee, because we have bodies. Now it'd be hard to know that, wouldn't it? We could all, who knows? It could be AI showing up at our little squares. But clearly, you know, it looks like we're still in bodies, and some of you get to. I'm looking at Cat and Rhodes. Hi, Rhodes. Like get to actually be with somebody else who has a body too. So that's kind of a lot of fun. I run the Evolutionary Power Institute in Boulder, Colorado, and we actually did an in-person meeting last night. We have one group of us that meets every other week in person. It's the best. So anyway, bodies, and yay for Gay and Katie. I had no idea. The first time I trained with them, I was real like a codger. I should do it this way. First one was 1995. I had found this book. I had graduated from graduate school as a clinical psychologist, you know, and I was out there having sessions very seriously. And then I found their book because I was doing couples work. And I thought, well, I don't know how to do couples work really. What I knew how to do is it's reflective listening. You know, what I heard you say was, I was a total failure at it because I always wanted to say, well, what I heard you say was, you think I'm an asshole, but I never could do the thing. So I thought I better learn more about this. And I found conscious loving. It was one of those moments, right? It didn't exactly fall off the shelf, but pretty much could have, because what I did my dissertation on was very similar. My dissertation, oh, that takes me back anyway, was about merging and disengagement and what that's about. And one of their subtitles had to do, I can't quote it, but how to be fully together, how to be fully yourself and together. It was one of those, yes, you can, somebody knows. So I thought, oh, why, there's an answer. I could have a self and have connection. I had no idea. I knew how to have connection, which was some version of whatever you think. Or I could have self, which is I need space. I could go have me, because I don't know how to have me when I'm around you. But they and their work, yay, blessings again, Katie. I do this because every day I'm quoting or living something from them. So they have an answer to how do you have self and connection. And what I'm going to teach you tonight is one of those answers. It's actually a very direct way to answer that question, because it's going to have to do with you connecting to you, but speaking and describing you out into those other people in a way that they can actually hear, instead of getting defensive because they think you're blaming them. So just to give you a little teaser, that's where we're going. And so that's what I did. I went off to, like, I found this book and it was in the 90s. And what do you mean web? There was no, right? So I'm going to find them. And I did. And I went off to this 8-day training, 8 days in this retreat center in Wilsonville, Oregon. And it was crazy. It was the craziest thing I ever did, really, even since then. Well, that might be arguable. Anyway, because we were breathing and moving. What? I was like sitting, right? I've been in graduate school, sitting and writing. So you can even take a breath right now, breathing, moving. We had bodies. So it was so fun, because I didn't know that that was possible to feel that good. And some of you know that's the only real problem there is, according to Gay and Katie, is feeling too good, which is really what got me into their work, was that line in Conscious Loving. There are no problems if you're doing this work, except for that one, which is a real problem, which is feeling too good. And then you encounter the upper limit issue. We're not talking about the upper limit issue tonight. I'm thinking that you might even have, well, I don't know, I'm sure you'll encounter that. But basically, it's are you willing to expand your ability to hold these very high vibrations? So since 1995, I've been exploring that question. And I sort of, if you know that terrible game called Chutes and Ladders, it's a kid's game. Right? It's like how to torment small children. You get into play this game where you're going up the ladder and you get the thing and you go up another ladder and yay until you hit the chute and you go all the way back. So that's how I think of the upper limit thing is, okay, ladder. Although I think I'm getting better at it. But at the time in 1995, 8 days, it took me till about day 4 or 5. I was sleeping less and less because I was feeling so good. And then by day 6, I got really sick. And day 7, I couldn't actually talk because I had laryngitis. So big old upper limit, but so much fun in retrospect, because I encountered this world I had no idea existed. So I don't know any of you enough to know what your experience with this is. I know some of you a little bit. But what I would say about all of this is, yay, you, that you're here, because you are with us. You get to explore this whole other realm. And I'm fascinated by that other realm. I think of that realm as creative brain, expanded states. Whew. And then there's reactive brain, the ones when I'm triggered and then my personas come out and all that stuff. Well, creative brain, there's just all kinds of fun, new experiences to enjoy out there. So I'm glad you're here so that we can do that together somewhat tonight. So my favorite way to teach is I'm going to show you some stuff, and then I'm going to demonstrate with somebody. Who will that be? So I hope somebody has an issue that they'd be willing to demonstrate this process with me about. And I'm really glad you're here and that you're willing to be on camera. I know some of you will go eat or do whatever you're going to do off camera, but thanks for being willing for me to see your faces, because it's so much easier for me to teach when I know you're there. So I appreciate your willingness to be seen. I guess I should say a little more. I'm a psychologist, Boulder Evolutionary Power Institute. We used to have the Boulder Center for Conscious Community. Some of you knew about that, but we shut down with the pandemic because we rented space to live things happening that couldn't continue. So Evolutionary Power Institute now is all about what it sounds like, living from a new experience of what power really is, which is me connecting to me, and then being able to be authentic and also connected in relation to you. That's what I think of as powerful. So that my life can unfold in this easeful way because I'm in the flow with life. I'm co-creating with you, and I'm co-creating with life. I guess that's all I would say at the moment. So I'm going to talk to you tonight. I'm talking to you about something that I've been playing around with maybe since 1995. When I first read this term, unarguable truth. It was in Conscious Loving. You can tell I love that book. I think I still have a copy up on my shelf. I've bought and handed out so many copies of that. In fact, I found one at the used bookstore with my name in it. So I'm like, oh, kept handing around. If you haven't read that book, go read that book. It's a classic. It's life changer. So in that book, they called it the microscopic truth. And then they meaning Gay and Katie, connected that with what is unarguable. So I got really interested because I've been doing relationship work is my thing. I love talking and thinking about relationships. Those are what my books are about. How do people relate? Okay, all is coming from that place of I didn't know how to do it. So my relationships, oh, there were some really tough times. Kathy, my wife now, and I were just about to celebrate 35 years together. But geez, those early years, that's partly what got me to that workshop in Wilsonville, because I was very, very good at power struggling as the fourth of four kids. So I knew how to power struggle, right? You just fight harder, or then you just give up, and you just slink away, right? All of those things I was really good at, except it didn't actually help my relationship. Darn it. So then I didn't know what to do. And here was this new possibility. So letting that, letting my fascination with what's unarguable develop, that's really what's happened over time, to the point that this process now, we've done lots of stuff. I think this is a pretty, in my opinion, pretty theoretically based, science-based, research-based, makes it very credible. Anyway, I think it's a very effective process. And I'll give you links towards the end so that you can find out more, because we've got lots of stuff to support this. It started out so simple in my mind because I just was trying to figure out, what can't anybody argue about? Well, right now, when I tell you what I think, you could argue with my list, just saying, right? So I'm just going to put this out as kind of the rules of the game, and you can disagree with my rules. You can play a different game if you want. This is the game I'm playing, and I find anybody play games out there? Any athletes, or you love to play pickleball or chess, or anybody? Come on, a little bit, yeah, it's okay. A little bit sideways. Teresa did. Okay. Right. It's helpful if you're playing a game to know what the rules are. Because it's not a really fun game if, imagine soccer and like, well, no foul lines, and I get to bonk you whatever I want to, and who cares about what you think is the goal? Like, right? It's just not a very fun game. And so here in this game of relation, I would offer these as particular foul lines for you, so that if you're playing this with somebody else, you have some sense that you both are staying within those little foul lines. And they're not very constrictive, I don't think. In this game, I think they help. So here's, and I'll show you the handout. I had a PowerPoint thing. I'm not going to It's like, you could look it up later if you want. It's actually on video somewhere. So here are the rules as far as I can discern, because again, over the years of using this with lots and lots and lots of couples and people, this is what I think you can't argue with. You can't argue with what's happening in my body. Probably you wouldn't even be tempted to. If I said to you, my mouth is dry, which now I'm gonna drink some. Like, you probably wouldn't have to argue with me about it. Now, a cool thing in that is some of you, maybe most of you, actually check to see if your mouth is dry. Anybody? It's this instinctive impulse, right? If I'm talking about my body, you probably, not always, you probably are going to check in and see if, oh, my lower back doesn't hurt, but oh, it's pain. Does my lower back hurt? Right? It's an instinctive kind of thing of, I'm talking about my innards, so you probably will check to see what's going on with yours. That is a cool thing, because if I said to you all, will you please check to see if your mouth is dry? Some of you would be like, okay, sure. And some of you would be like, why is she asking me that? Like your immediate response would be some level of, I don't want to be controlled. Right? Good, you don't. Thank you. Me either. Nobody wants to be controlled. I've been seeing lots of parents with little tiny kids on Zoom. Any of you, like, I don't know, there seem to be a plethora of small children coming into the frame. And so I've polled them about going back in time. When did your child at some point indicate they didn't want to be controlled? And I think I heard like 3 days. 3 days old. They already were like, right? So it's what we're kind of up against in relationships is, if I'm asking you to do the thing, my request is, there's going to be a party that's like, well, okay, maybe this time, but I don't want to give myself up for you. Again, great. So what I'm doing by talking about my sensations is I'm going inward in here into me, which may or may not, but probably is going to actually influence you in some way, which is not controlling you. It's just influence. We need to have influence in relationship to be relating to each other. So I'm talking about me, and I'm actually creating something called limbic resonance with you, where the limbic part of your brain is lighting up, and now we're actually starting to have connections. So if you saw the title of this, SEW is about the unarguable truth. S is sensations, anything stitching your way into connection. Sensations are not arguable. And as soon as I talk about my sensations, well, I'm creating some limbic resonance with you, and I'm already connecting. I just want to do that, creating connection. So great. So how can I have self and connection? Oh, I can talk about what's happening for me in a way that now is already looping you into a connection with me. Cool, right? Without any resistance or, why are you doing that? I don't want you to tell me what to do. When I talk about this and I go through SEW, I didn't really know when I first was coming up with this that the S had really very much impact. It just seemed like a little bit of a throwaway to me, because who goes around talking about sensations? Well, maybe after this call you will. Because this is what I think. If you listen to me, you'll start to hear lots of arguable things. Okay, so this is just warning you. But I'm going to say it declaratively. As I describe my sensations and you're in your body with your own experience, I think that's the beginning of a connection and intimacy. And so doing something wacky like talking to one of your family members, and things are getting a little hot and heated because you're driving and and you say, instead of saying slow down, or you're saying, oh my God, do you see that car? You could say, my stomach is in a knot, or wow, I feel like jumping out of my seat, right? that you're connecting in with you in a way that is very relatable to the person you're talking to. So you're opening a door to connection. So I love this so much about the body because I didn't know it. I trained as a clinical psychologist, not just like you know, the kind that did Rorschachs and stuff. It's wild. It's fun to think about, but it was all about thinking, think. Along the way, I had a teacher who said this wonderful piece of pithy wisdom, which was, Julie, the mind does not wish the best for you. So I hand that off to you. At the time, it was sort of a calamity for me because I thought, oh no, I'm in trouble. Because I relied on my mind. Now, I can't say I was happy. I wasn't. I was depressed and anxious, but at least I had some idea of what was going on, which of course was totally made up. But so I offer that to you, that this is going through a whole different route, which is my sensations are very elegantly, beautifully set up in my body to tell me what's going on emotionally. So that E are emotions. This has to stay unarguable though. So when we take this into the real form, you can notice when does it get arguable versus unarguable. But here's the path. Okay, so would everybody do this? Yeah, right. Notice what gets tight up there. Your jaw and your shoulders and your neck, right? Okay, right. You all know that would be anger. Now, this gets tricky in the mind because I don't know why I have a jaw thing. My jaw is always tight, but no, I'm not angry because I don't have any reason to be angry, right? I know, especially women. Well, your reason for being angry is that your jaw and your shoulders and your neck are saying that you're angry. Right? That's the best reason there is, because here is the law as proclaimed by me. Everybody else makes up laws. I thought I could too. Anybody gets to feel anything, anytime, for any reason. Right? So you get to feel what you're feeling simply because, oh, this means I'm angry. So it's different from, oh, do I have a good reason to feel angry? No. Okay, I must not be angry. I just always have headaches. Versus, oh, I don't know why I'm angry, but I'm angry. Okay, sensations of this, anger, sensations of, right, the lump in the throat and heavy heart would be sadness. And sensations of stomach and a tight knot or like contraction in your body or fear, right? So I'm trying to tell myself my body is really working so hard to talk to me. It's trying to talk to you. So good time right now to just tune in and take a moment. Like, what are the sensations you've been trying to ignore all day, right? It's trying to be like, that thing over here, or the thing, oh, I don't know, I feel queasy, right? Actually tune into those and take a moment. I'm not going to ask you. Well, actually, ooh, the fun part of chats. Let's use the chat. I just forget to use the chat well. So take a moment and find a sensation. And it's going to be a contracted, tense sensation. It's not going to be the open, feeling good sensation. And for the purposes here, find a place in your body, maybe up here, maybe here, maybe in your stomach. And then decide, just label it. Does that feel most like mad or sad or scared? And then if you put it in your chat, then we get to actually hear from you. Scared for no good reason. I love that from Hendricks. No good reason. You don't have to have a good reason. Your good reason is your body's talking to you. Scared there. Anybody else? More sad, more scared, right? So reporting on this, to me, what our bodies are trying to say, jaw a little tight, some fight, ooh, frustration, yeah, know what I was going to say. I don't know. But our bodies are trying to talk to us. And so actually listening in and saying, well, tell me, come on. And of course, they turn up the volume if we don't listen. That little headache became a migraine, or that little jaw pain with the dental stuff. Like my stomach is not all the time, and I don't know why. And so it must be that I just need to, I don't know, drink or smoke or whatever to make it go away versus, oh, I get to feel what I'm feeling, with the idea that if I feel it, it's going to move through like a storm. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Sensations, body sensations. I think of body sensations are, it's the equivalent of digestion. So, just allow me, well, I don't know, you probably will because I'm in charge at the moment of, maybe I'll be like, emotions, in my opinion, are not more important than any other digestive experience, including gas. Like it's just supposed to, it's emotions, we're supposed to have them to tell us what's our experience of the world. And then if we breathe with them and move them through, then they get to move through to the other side. They get to go. They just get to go versus getting stuck in all of those things that you so beautifully, oh, pain in legs, good question. Right? It's not stuckness, it's emotion. It's supposed to move through your body. So I'm going to tell you a little more thing. It's a little more, I know it's a lot of words, but then I'll show you the handout because then you'll be able to see it. Here's another really cool thing that I think. I mean, again, is it true? It's arguable, but I think it's true. And I have lots of experience to back it up. That each of these emotions has a reason, has an adaptive function. And so if you are willing to listen, you can actually ask the next question, which is well, I'll start down here because it's a little simpler. Scared says, I've perceived there to be a threat or danger. Doesn't mean there is one. It just means my body says, ah! And somebody else will be like, Julie. I'm like, yeah, but my body says there's a threat or danger. Okay, scared says that. Sad says, oh, I've experienced a loss. Have you? Doesn't matter. I get to feel what I'm feeling. So my heavy heart says, oh, I'm sad about losing my cookie today, right? Or something much more important, maybe than a cookie. But I do feel sad sometimes, or things like that, right? But then mad. Now, mad is its own case. So mad, and again, since a bunch of women on this call, or however you identify, but if you were socialized as a woman, well, mad was not the top of what you're supposed to feel. Men are supposed to be scared. Women are not supposed to be mad. So I want to free this up for you, because you are, thank you in general, and I know broad brush here, you are doing something so lovely and amazing, which is you're trying to stay in connection and contact. And you know that if you feel angry or you get angry, people are going to scatter because it's a mammalian impulse to move away. So smart you. So then what are you supposed to do if you're feeling it, but you don't want to disrupt the connection? So it's not easy, but here's my invitation to you, is that you don't blame, because anger plus blame is the thing you're trying to not do. It's the toxic impact of anger. But you don't have to blame with anger. If anger is saying, I'm getting something that I don't want. No, I don't want you to talk to me right now. Doesn't mean you shouldn't talk to me. It doesn't mean you're bad that you talk to me. It just means, ooh, I notice I don't want that. So it stops an intrusion. Yay, you. And it's also this big energy that says, oh, this is so frustrating. I say, Deborah, I'm frustrated. Oh, I want to push through something. Ooh, I'm not getting something that I want. I'm getting something I don't want. I'm not getting something that I want. So yay, anger for talking to you about that. We talk about boundaries. Oh, you need boundaries, right? But what does that mean? That's all it means. I'm getting I don't want that. What I do want is this. That's simple. Anger is just saying, whoop, whoop. The sensation saying, wow, it turns out I forgot to tell you that. or I haven't tuned into that for the last, 5 years. I coached somebody out in a meadow once. It was a big group of people. It was really fun. She came up and said, well, I've had a headache for 2 years. Like, ooh, poor thing. Well, so it took us about, I think, 20 minutes. I don't know. And the headache was gone because she finally let herself feel angry. Just was trying to talk to her. Okay, so sensations, and then they tell us the emotion. The emotion tells us what's really going on. Now we've got mad, sad, glad. Ooh, it's glad, right? Mad, sad, glad, scared, sexual. Sexual is not an emotion, but anybody gets to feel anything, anytime, for any reason. Get to feel sexual whenever you feel it. So, but mad, sad, glad, scared. And so the big three of mad, sad, scared, that's where the tension is in your body. It's telling you something. So sensations, emotions, and then once you feel all that stuff all the way through, the question is, what do you really want? But if you ask me what I want when I'm mad, I'll tell you what I want. Or when I'm scared, I want to get away from this, right? But if I get through all of that on the other side, oh, what I really want. Oh, I really want connection. I really want peace. I really want to have a good time. So that's the W. Okay, finally, I'm going to show you the handout, but I better go find it. There it is. And then I will put it in the chat. Got this. There it is. SEW. Woohoo. Oh, it's kind of big, isn't it? I'll make it a little smaller, but then you see all the lines. Oh, well, you see the other one. See, I'm going to make it bigger again. It's too distracting. And then, I'll have to put it in the chat after we do this. So, okay, see, here it's all laid out for you. So from henceforth, you can go around speaking in an unarguable way, which will allow you to feel connected to you. Look, sensations, get to the real issue, and then to come to the other side by speaking what you really want. And to me, the gold standard here of relationships is we each get to do this. I say what I want and you say what you want from this expanded space. And then the big question is, how do we both get everything we want? Because that is possible when we're in this expanded space. So I'm going to put that into the chat when I stop this share, which is momentarily. And then I'm going to ask somebody to demonstrate this with me. So I'll stop the share and then I'll do the thing while you're thinking about this. Maybe you already have. This is the right one. Somebody look at that and make sure it's the one I just showed you.
I don't see it through yet.
SEW. Oh, I know why. Because I sent it just to Julie. Hi, Julie.
Oh,
Because that was the last message. Because let's do it again. Glad I asked. We don't have to go over to Julie's house. Yes, that was the same one? Thank you, Pat. Okay, so who would be willing to demonstrate this with me? Anybody have an issue that you'd love to shift tonight, this very time, wherever you are? Australian and New Zealanders, I'm always saying the wrong time of the day for them.
Go ahead and raise your hand or raise your electronic hand or your physical hand if you're willing to play.
Of course, we might have to lean in on Michelle if
of course, yeah.
Opportunity to have great coaching.
Come on, somebody. Somebody.
Oh, wait, Teresa's got her hand up. Hi, Teresa. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, I'll unmute here.
Okay, and shall I pin you? Maybe we'll just keep you in.
I can do that, whatever you prefer. I can spotlight both of you. You want to do that?
Yeah,
Or
why don't you spotlight?
yeah. Okay. And here we go. Oh, wrong one. Sorry about that. Let me try that again.
It's a little game show, and we get it.
Yeah. Da, 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 da. Ta-da!
Okay.
All right.
And is Teresa, am I saying your name the way you like it?
Yes, Teresa.
Okay. Teresa, thanks for doing this with me. Really
Sure.
appreciate your willingness. Okay, so the way this process starts is by somebody complaining, but only for about 1 minute. And when you do it, like really let your whole body get involved, because what this is going to do is take us through to the right issue. It's kind of magic. So are you ready to complain about an issue?
Sure.
And go.
Do I talk to you like you're the other person?
Sure.
I can't believe you sent me this long email, not just one. Do you know how many words? It was like so many words. It was like, go. And I actually spent a whole evening really feeling into what you're trying to say and responded to you. And you didn't like anything I said. And you sent me another huge long email with all of these words, thousands of words. And finally, I tried to tell you, like, no, stop. I can't do this. And you didn't stop. You kept going and going and going. And finally, and I asked my friend, how do I extricate myself from this? She gave me some words. I used her words. It still didn't work. Finally, I just stopped responding to you because I didn't know what else to do.
It's fantastic.
And now you're telling me you want to do some relationship repair because I blew you off and you didn't get what you needed in that exchange. So now I have to meet with you next week about this.
Oh, perfect time. Okay. Well, thanks for stepping in. Okay, that's great. So nice job. Nice job. Now, for those of you watching at home, there are a few arguable things that Teresa said, but that was the point. That's the point, right? So, but just to notice that, now we're going to sort. So, Teresa, as you take a breath into your body, oh yeah, body, that is your body. Will you describe the sensations that you're having?
I'm feeling some squiggly feelings here in my chest and some butterflies in my stomach and some tension in the back between my shoulder blades.
So let's just walk through each of those. So squiggly, is that
Squiggly.
or sad or scared? The squiggly.
There's some fear in there. Yeah, there's some fear. Yeah.
And then you said your stomach too?
Yeah, sort of butterflies in my stomach. That's about just kind of being online with you right now.
Okay, so also some fear?
Yeah, but it's a little different. It's more being on the spot, kind of, you know.
So the quality of, okay, so so going to your stomach, I got it. So you're already so sophisticated about this. So as you notice the butterflies, do they mostly feel like mad or sad or scared?
More scared.
Scared. Different quality of scared than this, but more scared.
Yeah, yeah.
And then coming up here, where was it?
Back of between my shoulder blades.
Does that
that's some anger.
That's some anger.
Yeah, that's kind of like.
So to pause right now and notice what is actually true in an unarguable way is you feel scared and mad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And actually let your body feel scared and mad. It's talking to you.
Yeah. So you want me to let it do that, you said?
Yes, and kind of to just be with it, like here's the truth of it. And while you're there, because I want to jump in before you move it too fast. It looks like you're fast at this. Fear is saying, okay, there is a perceived threat or danger. So what is your body saying is the perceived threat or danger?
Well, it's back to this, as if I were back in this exchange, this email exchange, and it actually feels like I'm being deluged by this huge wave of words that won't stop no matter what I do.
So the bottom line danger is what?
I'm drowning.
Right? It's
I'm
perfect.
drowning.
I'm scared I'm going to drown.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, how about letting yourself feel that fear? Because to notice that's in your body,
Mm-hmm.
totally legitimate, valid. You get to be as scared as you feel that you're going to drown. But also to notice that's yours.
Mm-hmm.
To breathe with that, like, okay, I'm scared I'm drowning. Scared I'm going to drown. Whew. And while you're there with that, Teresa, I wonder what that reminds you of.
Oh. Mm. It's like the memory came up with being 11 years old and being in church, and I kept fainting because I just wanted to get out of there. So I would faint, and these men would carry me out, and it happened week after week after week.
Ah, so creative. So this reminds you of that.
Yeah, that's the memory that came up.
Kind of some sense of being
Kind
deluged.
of being somewhere where I had to be. My parents were saying you have to do this, and that it didn't make any sense to me, and I really didn't want to be there, and I didn't know how to get out of it, so I fainted.
Yeah. Yeah. And how's a squiggly place right now? How are the butterflies?
They're pretty relaxed.
Okay, so it kind of moved. Nice.
Yeah.
And how's the place between your shoulder blades?
It's not so intense.
Nice. So just as it's already
Yeah,
moved.
I'm moving. I'm kind of massaging it and welcoming it. It feels like I'm welcoming it.
Okay, there's your body. And before it goes, let's just get the message. I wonder, from your body's perspective, what are you getting that you don't want or not getting that you want?
So again, putting myself back in that situation. What I wasn't getting that I want is to be heard and respected, I think. Acknowledged.
Some respect, some acknowledgement.
Mm-hmm.
How does the place between your shoulders like that? Is it agreeing? Is there something else getting that you don't want or not getting that you want?
Well, there's something else in there that so what she was complaining about was a session I facilitated between her and this other woman who were having the conflict. And I didn't feel like I did a very good job. I wasn't on my game at that time. I wasn't perfect. And so I wanted I don't know if it's forgiveness, but just what's the word? I was feeling that it was triggering me about this thing about I'm bad, and I needed help. I needed help in that moment in believing that it's okay for me to not always be perfect.
Yeah. Ah,
And I'm still okay.
so in terms of the
Accepting me in my perfection.
Oh,
think is what I wanted.
one acceptance
Yeah.
in all of your forms.
Yeah.
So I wonder, okay, because you kind of just delivered us to the doorway of what do you really want?
Yeah, I think that's it. And I realized today when I was thinking about this that I I need to accept myself first. And I think I hadn't done that for myself. And so I was feeling defensive.
Right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
yes, from my own perspective too. So a wonderful moment right here to just enfold yourself in or whatever you would do with acceptance.
Yeah.
Here I am. I am what I am.
Well, I think it's Katie's version of the love scoops, but it's a quilt. It's a nice cushy quilt that I'm bringing around myself and really giving myself love and acceptance.
Yeah.
And I'm okay. I don't have to be perfect all the time.
So then if we're going to just kind of go back through there, and I don't know what you'll do next with this with her, but I wonder if you'd be willing to put it together about what is unarguable. What word, now it's long gone, right? The sensations, but sensation to what you really want.
String it, put it all together, like in one. Yeah. So in my body, I'm noticing there's sensations of squiggly, kind of a squiggly feeling here in my chest, and butterflies and tension in my back. And so I was feeling some anger and a little anxiety about being on the spot, and some fear and some fear about, was I going to be okay here? And what I really need is acceptance.
Want.
Oh, what I really want is acceptance from myself for not, that I'm okay. That I'm okay not being perfect all the time. And I want that same acceptance from you.
And how's your body like that?
Oh, much better. I feel soft and more fluid. I feel fluid now.
And let's take it just a little further with, because if I had acceptance from you, like what would you be getting? Like what, if in fact the thing happened over there, what is it you really are wanting?
I want a return of the flow of connection between us. And I told her there's no way that I didn't want that at all. That's what she wanted. I said, no way, I don't want that. I'm just so pissed. I just want you to hear what I'm feeling.
Yeah, that's right. Because you will now.
But now that we've moved through this and I'm feeling more fluid again, then I realize that's what I'm missing. And that's really what I want, is a reconnection and feeling that flow between us again. That's amazing. I didn't know that was there.
Right, it's just in your body. Woohoo! Yay, yay, yay. Okay, thank you so much, Teresa. So let's have everybody else come back and then we'll talk about what we all just got to be part of, because yay, you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So Michelle, will you unpin us like the master of the pins? Woohoo! So that's what it looks like to speak what is unarguable. So anybody have questions or comments or anything about that? It's like, wow. Yes, Abby.
I loved it. Thank you so much. So much appreciation for the demonstration. Um, what about when you encounter somebody and they can't remember like a memory? Because I've had clients and they're like, I don't know what this reminds me of, you know?
Like, okay. What I do notice though is, I mean, that the complaining part is so great. I don't know why this works. What is it? What's happening in our bodies? But the complaining gets us riled up in all the places that if we follow them, we end up at an 11-year-old in church, right? That the body
Mm.
itself is, it's so associational, the brain, of course, but that it takes us to the, like the place. It's the coolest thing. I love this moment. It's like the origin point of whatever is getting triggered now by this issue. So, but if it, you know, or not, but let them complain, but with their whole bodies as much as they are willing.
Yeah, I just love the fact that like it's not just like, okay, I need to go just sit with this part of 11-year-old and like really feel into it, but it's like you're getting beneath to figure out like you're healing it and you're healing the situation.
You're healing it. Isn't that the coolest? Like because what I'm doing is I'm presencing and putting my full attention on the thing. At the time, I didn't want to put my attention on because it was too overwhelming. But now here I get to do it like, oh, it's here and it's here, it's here. Breathe through it, hang out with it, and then move it through. Now I think that's one less layer that's stacked into ourselves because we got to feel it. Anybody else? So any conflict anywhere, I really think it works. I mean, can you, can I don't know, right? That's a different question. But I'm starting to do some live coaching in front of audiences here. I had an adult daughter and her mom in front of this audience, and it was just, to see this shift of, this was the first time we had all done this in public like that. And I said, could we just do something easy? Like, you know, driving or something, babysitting. And they said, okay. And then they went straight for it. Like, oh yeah, I'm scared I failed as a mother. Oh, I'm scared that you're going to lead. Like, okay, here we are. But we got to the real issue, and they were able to connect with it themselves and then create connection with each other because they got to what was really going on. So I love this process so much for that. It's very reliable. Now, of course, it means I have to, is that true? But right, I have to be willing to connect with what's really going on in me. So, right, if I'm not, for whatever the day, or I had a day like that yesterday, I don't want to know. But if I'm willing, my body will talk to me and tell me what's really going on. And then I get to shift. And then there's this new open space of possibility on the other side of that I didn't experience before. I didn't even know it was there, like Teresa said.
I saw Deborah might have had a question. Deborah, do you have a question? I see you're unmuted, but we can't hear you. At least I can't hear you.
I'm going to type it in the chat. Drowning in critical words. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you could put it in the chat.
Yeah, drowning in, right, and I don't want to be in church, drowning in feeling all of this, yeah. And while you're doing that, Deborah, I'm going to answer Grace's question. Do you have the feelings you've identified move through your body before or after you identify the memory? I would say after, because it's actually going to take us to what's the source. So if you clear it out too soon, you lose that that connecting point potentially. You might think of it anyway, but that's the glory of actually being willing to feel the feelings. Is we got the part of the brain that's connecting us back to what it's really about. We have cups at API. It's like it's never about the dishes. It's never about what we think it's about. Well, of course, if you had shoveled the walk, if you had not sent me this huge email, if you had been nice in the meeting, if you hadn't blah blah, well, it's never about that. It's about what is coming up for me in my body that I haven't processed yet. And that's why it's getting triggered, because it's just laying there. It's just waiting for the right match. If I blame you for being the match, well, first, you're not going to take kindly to it. And second, I'm missing the opportunity to actually process what the real issue is. It's going to be between me and me. And Teresa did such a beautiful job of feeling it through. I mean, that's the, I'd say the challenge, because if I'm in the thing, I'm like, oh, but it's a conflict and I've got to process it with you. We got to figure out what happened. No, I don't think we do. I think what I need to do is be over here and be like, oh, okay, what is this bringing up? Be willing to see it and feel it and be like, uh-oh, it's about when I was 11 or about when I was 6 or when I was like, oh, you remind me of my mother, like all that stuff, and get the message and then come to the other side. And then I interact with you and we talk about how can we both get what we want. And Teresa, I was like nudging you. I don't use the word need. I like the word want. I know other people use need. It's for me, it takes me to kind of this collapsed place. I need something from you versus I want. This works better for me. So it's a preference. I'm watching time. I know we only have 2 minutes, so I probably should tell you stuff like where you can find out more information. So I'm going to do that right now. Let's see what's back there.
That sounds great. While you're doing that, Julie, I want to thank you so much.
Oh, yes.
I found this quite enlightening and inspiring and fun and deep and amazing. So
Good.
yeah.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we have its own page. SEW has its own page. So because we have a URL on it. Isn't that cool? Because we were so enthralled by it. So you should be able to find it there. So that's one thing. And then if you want to find more stuff that I'm doing, here's a different slide for you to see that. Great and extraordinary. Yay. Okay. Evolutionarypower.org is our nonprofit. We've got a program with practitioners, trained practitioners. They all know SEW and embodied counseling and coaching. We just changed the name. So you can be connected with trained practitioners. Some of them are master's level, they have graduated, and others are interns. And so they're cheaper if you want. There's me. I think that's a little signal, right, of how you find me. YouTube, Evolutionary Power Institute. Yeah. So all the things you can email there. And I want to tell you, we have lots of programs. It's the best part of my, I'm having so much fun, and I'd love for you to be involved if you don't have enough support elsewhere. You know, yay for Foundation for Conscious Living and for Gay and Katie, and there's zillions and like so much material. Woohoo! And if you want more structured stuff or more ongoing, check out evolutionarypower.org because we've got lots of things, virtual and in person. I teach couples work, and there's just all kinds of things. I'm also doing a training. We're starting in the fall. You might be interested if any of you are practitioners or would like to be, because I'm training people in this work, which I adore. I have been doing it, as you know, for decades, and I still very, very excited because it's so fun to do with people. So I'd love to play with you more if you have any interest.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Julie.
One more thing. I wonder if I can actually, there is nope. Okay, can we just, yes. I'm going to do this last thing because people that just graduated did this wonderful, so 2 interns who are now practitioners did this YouTube video about what is SEW, and it's the kind of the biology behind it, the theory behind it. So.
Oh, nice. You have that on YouTube, did you say?
That one's on YouTube. Yep. It's public.
Could you please share the link to the web page again?
It's the web page. Why don't I just put it in evolutionarypower.org?
Oh yeah, if you could put it in the
But but you said that So has its special page on
Yeah,
there.
it's on a special page. Yeah, I know, because I was trying to prepare, and you can tell. Hang on, I'm coming, but if you need to leave, I understand, because I'm being the way. All right, here's us, and that'll get you to Evolutionary Power, and then, but that's not the one that you were just asking about, Rosa. Coming, SBW relationship skills. That's it.
All right, you're popping one more.
Yes, I am. I'm popping another wheelie.
One more popping. Yeah, I'm into the popping thing today, I guess, apparently. Oh, that's great. Thank you so much. And if you don't know how to save the chat, you can just ask me after. But there is a way of saving the chat. So you don't worry that you won't lose the links. So I want to thank everybody for coming together and being willing to play. And Teresa, thank you for being willing to demonstrate. And thank you again, Julie. So appreciate you and hope to see you again one of these days.
Let me know if there's something more I can do. And just want to shout out to Rhodes and Julie and anybody else that I know I just can't tell yet. Yeah. So thanks for being here. Thanks for using your precious time to do this because it matters and you're bringing light out into the world in a way that you probably don't even know you're doing, but people around.
I have another question. I don't know if we have a minute for that but so like, I really get that it's ideal and optimal when you can have the time with somebody to get clear on all these layers inside yourself before talking to the person in the conflict. And in situations where you may not have the opportunity to do that, would it still be helpful to just talk about sensations and emotions and wants, even if you realize that there's a part of you that still needs to do more processing on it all?
Absolutely. And when in doubt, do the weird thing, which is talk about your sensations.
Yeah.
That you'll get the most bang for your buck. I know it's odd. People don't usually say, oh, I don't know, I'm standing here next to you and now my stomach hurts. But it's this magic moment. It's like a portal that delivers you through to this other side where you will create instant connection with this other person and the conflict starts to recede. So even if you can't get to all the other stuff, you probably won't be able to track something that's happening in your body.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Sure.
All right. Well, if you want to unmute to say goodbye, feel free. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Great
you.
job.
Bye.